So for the engine compartment, you will need to detail multiple parts and know what they do, where they are, and a couple other things about them. So the first thing that you'll mention is about the oil. So you'll say the oil is brown, and that you'll check the level at the dipstick, which is this yellow dipstick with the little oil symbol, and then you'll say that you fill it at the cap, and the oil cap is right here. And then you will also say that the oil level is within safe operating range. It's above the refill mark, and that's it about that, I believe. And then you would move on and talk about the coolant. Coolant, you would say that it is green, and you would check the level at the reservoir sight glass, which is this, and you would fill out the cap, which is this, in the same area. You would move on to power steering fluid, which power steering is a black drum towards the back. It can be hard to see, but it's way back in there. Has a black cap on top of it, and you would say that you check the level at the dipstick and fill out the cap. It's all in the same area. Power steering is not belt driven. Make sure you mention that as well. And then it'd also be the fluid level will also be adequate, and it'd be mounted securely, not damaged or leaking, and all that normal stuff that you don't want to be happening. And then you would move on to talking about the water pump belt, which is behind here. So most likely you'll just be able to point straight through this oil sticker, and the belt is right behind it, behind the belt guard. You would say that the water pump belt is snug with no more than 3/4 inches of play at the center of the belt and is not ripped or frayed. And then you would move on to talking about the alternator belt, which is behind this part of the belt guard, which is, you can also see, you can already see it, but it's also just point through the belt guard. And you would say the same things that you would say about the water pump, that belt is snug with no more than 3/4 inches of play at the center of the belt, is not cracked or frayed, it's operating properly, not damaged, and mounted securely. And then you would move on to the air compressor belt, which is located behind this part of the belt guard. You don't want to point just straight to this mechanism, because that doesn't show the belt, because the belt is a bit farther down, so just point straight through where the warning sign is. You would say the same things again, that the belt is snug with no more than 3/4 inches of play at the center of the belt and is not cracked or frayed. You also need to mention that it is not damaged, operating properly, and has no leaks. Because it's an air compressor belt, you don't want leaks from it. Same with the water pump belt, there shouldn't be any leaks. Move on to talking about hoses and lines. You mentioned that they're all in good condition and have no leaks, and then you would look underneath the bus to make sure that there are no dripping fluids or puddles on the underneath of the engine and transmission. There could be some leaks from this area. It's just water, it's condensation from like the air conditioning and stuff, but that should be all they have to mention for the engine compartment. And then once you're done mentioning it, when you go to close the door, make sure that you guide it all the way closed and be nice and gentle. And that's all.